Hello everyone, this is my second book in the series of books I've been reading during the lockdown, and as you can see here is the Lost Book of the Grail, and this android here is King Arthur from Fate Grand Order. I just put him here because he's related to this Grail myth. So to start, I don't really understand much about the Grail myth, and so this was one of the reasons I was looking for a book such as this, where there's some mention of the fairy, and at the same time allows me to understand King Arthur and his the myth around his Round Table Knights of the Round Table at the same time. So as I was looking through book depository for one such book, I thought of Caitlin and John Matthews, whom I know did related things for our tarot community, which is the Arthurian Tarot. And so I started out by looking for them and flipped through the catalogue, and I stopped at this phrase, the restoration of the fairy accord, which in a way sounds quite cool, and it also feels like it hits my soul in some way, because I can say I'm quite aware of our impact on the environment, and this phrase does seem like a caution of some kind. So yes, I'm going into this book very blind, and I saw that there's a new translation of this text called The Elucidation of the Grail. So I wasn't quite sure what that means, so that is another factor why I bought the book. And when I got the book, I realized that it's actually really centered upon this text itself. And this text was originally in a poetic format, which I started to falter a bit because I like prose over poems. I don't really know how to appreciate poems. So I was like, did I make the wrong choice? But I've already bought the book, so I decided to go on with it. So at the start the book will just talk about the poem and a short summary of a kind of what this poem will mean. But then in the later chapters, they will start to go into what this poem will mean in a deeper way, because this elucidation of the Grail, it is not just a straight up story on its own. It is a story within stories. There are many tales from the different branches of different characters and knights of the Round Table, even King Arthur himself. Although King Arthur takes a back seat in this text, his knights take the front seat. And if you do know quite a bit about the Knights of the Round Table, I'm sure when you see what is being mentioned in the text itself, you probably have an idea who they are referring to, but for me, I don't. So I really do enjoy seeing how the authors try to decipher who this or that character might refer to. If you ask me whether it's accurate or not, I'm not very sure about that as well. So I do believe this book, not only do you need to know a bit about the Knights of the Round Table. For me, my knowledge only comes from the Once and Future King and the Sword in the Stone, that's all. So I cannot comment much about that. But I did read I was reading a book just before I got this one, and it's the Mabinogion, and it's a series of short stories that are kind of well related, but just not that much mention of King Arthur in it as well. And this book can be found online, which I will put a link down below. Although I must caution that the language is pretty Shakespearean to me. I only appreciate simple straight up English, so that was quite hard for me to read. But I am happy that I read that book before I got this, because there are some characters from the Mabinogion inside, which who are like Pooh, they're inside, and if you read the book before you come in, you will have a better idea and appreciation of what the authors are saying. But of course, let's come back to the restoration of the fairy accord. So as this part means, there are mentions of humans breaking our promise to the fairy folk and damaging the land, or even breaking our words with them, which causes quite dire consequences for the land itself. And in a way, this really brings to mind of how we humans are treating the earth right now, by exploiting things because of our desires. And even though in this book itself it also takes on a different form in the later part of the text, which is that we have people who interbreed with the fairy folk, and there are two parties, two sides here. So one of which is the folks who are more friendly with the human, and the other one which is who are not really very friendly with us. So if you guys know about the kind of fairies that we interact with in our modern world, you'll know them quite well, even though they come under different names right now. So moving on to the book itself, it's really just all words. I can only finish 4 to 5 pages a day because it's pretty dry, and things do not repeat very frequently. How should I put it? I think that they do run in loops, so in a way to kind of remind us of what happened, but at the same time it does throw me off quite a bit. So that's why I will give this book a 4 out of 5. But I really do enjoy it a lot. Thank you.